Room 308. I remember the lockdown drill bell ringing. 3 short blasts just like we'd practiced. But this time it wasn't a drill. It started during 7th period. History class. Mr. Keller had just begun lecturing about the Cold War when the intercom crackled. Attention staff and students. This is a lockdown. Repeat, we are in lockdown. This is not a drill. The room went quiet. You could feel the tension like a weight pressing on your chest. Mr. Keller rushed to lock the door, turned off the lights, and herded us into the corner behind the lab tables. We crouched, silent, surrounded by dusty globes and faded maps. I pulled out my phone, heart hammering, but there was no signal, no bars. Like the school had been cut off from the world. At first, it was just silence. Then came footsteps. They echoed down the hall, slow, heavy, deliberate. They didn't sound like a teacher, more like boots. Someone tried the door to our classroom. The handle rattled once, twice, hard enough that we all jumped. Then came a long pause. Knock, knock. The sound was too soft, too calm, like they knew we were inside. Someone near me stifled a sob. I think it was Lexi. Mr. Keller whispered, "Stay quiet. Don't move." Another knock. Then silence. We waited. Minutes passed, or maybe hours. Then the fire alarm went off. That wasn't supposed to happen during a lockdown. We looked at each other, confused. Mr. Keller hesitated. Protocol said not to evacuate. He stayed still, eyes locked on the door. That's when we heard it, screaming. Not just one voice, dozens. From down the hall, echoing off the lockers, feet pounding, something, or someone, was running, chasing. And then, silence again. Suddenly our classroom phone rang. Mr. Keller didn't move. It rang 3 times, then stopped. On the 4th ring, it started again. This time, it didn't stop. The ringing got louder, shrill, insistent. Mr. Keller, shaking, crawled toward the phone and lifted the receiver. He didn't say anything, just listened. Then he dropped it. I think we need to leave," he whispered. We didn't argue. We crept toward the door. When he opened it, the hallway was dark. The emergency lights were on, flickering. Lockers were dented. Papers strewn everywhere. Blood smeared the floor in long, dragging streaks. We ran. Somehow, I ended up alone. I don't know where the others went. I think I turned left when they went right. Now I'm hiding in room 308. It's not a classroom. It shouldn't exist. There's no handle on the inside of the door. The windows are covered in black paper, and the lights won't turn on. I hear something outside. It's knocking again. This time it knows my name. They never said what to do if it got in. It started like any normal Tuesday. Algebra in the morning, cafeteria food that tasted like cardboard at lunch, and the usual dread of gym class. Around 1:12 p.m., during English, the intercom buzzed. "This is a lockdown. This is not a drill." You could always tell when it was real. The voice wasn't our principal's usual sing-song tone. It was tight, shaky, afraid. Ms. Geller froze mid-sentence. "Everyone against the wall. Now!" We scrambled to the far corner of the room, out of sight of the door and windows. She turned off the lights, locked the door, pulled the blinds, then joined us. You could hear the silence like a pressure in your ears. Then we heard it. A scream, far off at first, echoing down the hall. Then a crash, metal hitting tile, maybe a locker door. Footsteps followed, fast, uneven, wet. We all flinched when someone pounded on a classroom door down the corridor. Bang, bang, bang. Then a gurgling sound, something that didn't sound human. I could feel everyone around me holding their breath. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from my friend Ryan. "Don't open the door. It's not a person." I stared at the message, then the footsteps came closer. They didn't sound right, too fast, like hands and feet were hitting the floor at the same time. They stopped right outside our door. Silence. The doorknob jiggled. I don't know how, but even with the lights off and no windows open, we could feel it watching us, like whatever was on the other side knew we were there. Then it started scratching, slow, deliberate, across the wood, not trying to get in, just to let us know it was waiting. Miss Geller looked like she was about to pass out. One kid, Caleb, whispered that he saw something in the hallway earlier, something crawling. He said it didn't have eyes. Another crashed down the hall, more screams. Then the fire alarm blared. We all jumped. Someone outside started laughing, loud, broken, like a puppet mimicking joy. The handle rattled again, this time harder. Then silence. We stayed in that room for what felt like hours. Eventually, the lights came back on. The intercom buzzed again. All clear. Lockdown is over. Resume normal activities. Miss Geller didn't move. We stayed huddled for another 30 minutes, just to be sure. When we finally opened the door, the hallway was empty. But something wasn't right. Locker 323 was melted. Not broken. Melted. There were deep gouges in the floor, like claws had been dragged through the tile. And on the wall, smeared in something dark and dry, was one word: stay. We never found out what it was. But here's the worst part. They've done more drills since then. We keep practicing lockdowns, but no one ever said what to do if it gets inside. The intercom said my name. It was fourth period when the lockdown started. We were in biology, watching a video about cell division. The lights were off, the room was quiet. That's when the intercom crackled to life. Attention students and staff. We are now in lockdown. This is not a drill. Our teacher, Mr. Doyle, moved quickly. He locked the door, turned off the projector, and waved us toward the back of the room. We all huddled behind the counters. No one said a word. We knew the routine. At first, it felt like every other lockdown drill. Nerves, but no real fear. Then the intercom came back on. Stay quiet. Stay still. Do not open the doors. Do not respond to anyone, even if they sound familiar. That wasn't standard protocol. Some of us exchanged confused looks. Mr. Doyle's eyes were wide. Then it said my name. Alex Winters, come to the main office immediately. Everyone turned to me. I tried to laugh it off, like it had to be a mistake. But something about the voice didn't sit right. It sounded like the principal, but not quite. Like someone trying to mimic her. Flat, hollow. Mr. Doyle shook his head. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. 10 minutes passed, maybe 15. Then the doorknob turned. Just once. Slowly. We all froze. Someone knocked 3 times. Not frantic, not forceful. Just patient. Then a voice whispered through the door. Alex, it's me. Let me in. It sounded like my mom. There's no way she should have been there. No way she could be. She was at work, downtown. I know her voice. I grew up hearing it. But this wasn't quite right. It was like hearing a recording being played through a smile that didn't belong to her. Mr. Doyle mouthed, "Don't move." We waited. Eventually, the voice stopped. No footsteps, no sound of retreat. Just silence. That's when the lights flickered. The emergency lights kicked in, red, buzzing. On the ceiling, the air vents started hissing like something was moving through them. Heavy, wet, close. And the intercom buzzed again. Alex Winters, come to the main office. Everyone else, stay where you are. It said it 3 times. Then the power cut out entirely. Pitch black. We heard something heavy land on the floor outside the door. Then slow, dragging footsteps. It wasn't walking, it was pulling itself. Then scratching. Not at the door this time, at the ceiling above us. Something was crawling in the vents. One of the tiles above us shifted slightly. A drop of something hit the floor. It wasn't water. Then the intercom whispered, "It's inside now." That was 2 days ago. I don't know how I'm still here. The others are gone. No one ever came for us. No one ever turned the lights back on. I'm in the supply closet, writing this on my phone. My battery's almost dead. The intercom is broken now, but every so often, it still says my name.